Yes, play it. This game is awesome, and if you haven't played it yet, I seriously urge you to give it a shot. Not only is this one of my favorite game series of all time, but it holds a special place in the hearts of many Monster Hunter fans and gamers alike. If you want to know the ins and outs of what makes Monster Hunter World so great and why it's the #1 selling Capcom game of all time, then you're in the right place. In this video, we're going to take a look at Monster Hunter World's success, mechanics, and its innovations into the series, but also what it has to offer on a surface level. But for those of you who might be new or returning players, don't be fooled when I say surface level, as this game is everything but that, as the Monster Hunter series holds lots of intricate gameplay systems that'll let you delve in and be rewarded with proper study. Something extra, as an addition, I'll be going over my personal favorites on why Monster Hunter World is so awesome and why it's the best co-op action RPGs out there. So if that piques your interest, please stick around until the end of the video, as you may like what I have to say. If you're new to the channel or not subscribed, hey, what's up? I'm Terroriza. And if you're returning to the channel and are subscribed, yo, what it do, my dude? I'm Terroriza. See that? You get an extra greeting for being subbed. Welcome to the channel, where we focus on gaming news, reviews, and discussions, but more importantly, what makes them so awesome and how they make us feel. Let's jump in, friends. Monster Hunter World is a popular action RPG developed and published by Capcom and was released in the beginning of 2018. The game has players take on the role of a hunter tasked with tracking and defeating various monsters in a variety of environments, ranging from forests and deserts to icy tundras and volcanic regions. As players progress through the game, they can craft new weapons and armor using materials obtained from defeated monsters, which allows them to take on even tougher challenges. The game also includes multiplayer, primarily what Monster Hunter is known for. It allows up to 4 players to team up and take on monsters together in quests. Monster Hunter World has been praised for its engaging gameplay, depth of content, and impressive visuals, and has become the best-selling game in the Monster Hunter series and best-selling Capcom game ever. Designed to take advantage of the processing power of modern consoles and computers, the game is way more accessible and appealing to a wider audience, which brought in tons of new players to the series. Elimination of loading screens between zones with fully connected environmental spaces allowed for a more immersive and seamless experience, and the improved artificial intelligence and physics for the monsters made them more challenging and realistic, adding to the overall excitement of the game. Persistent cooperative multiplayer experience made it easier for players to team up, especially with the addition of 16-player lobbies. You're even able to join others in the middle of their quest now via the new SOS system, which the main quest taker can activate and deactivate as they please, allowing for others to freely hop in for a hunt. The crafting system of the previous games also got refined, as they've added a new auto crafting system, which you can toggle on or off for specific items. But more importantly, you don't need to lug around your book of combos anymore, which in the old game helped by boosting your crafting success rate. But in this game, they just completely did away with the chance of failing. Meaning if you have the materials required, then you're guaranteed to get the item you desire. Movesets of the weapons have been greatly expanded, and even further so with the Iceborne DLC. I mean, just check this out. But by far, what I consider to be one of the biggest changes was the ability to drink potions or use other items while moving. Some veterans may not be a fan of this change, but I personally feel it's a great addition, as it serves to keep you in the fight without too much of an interruption. The refined tutorials and user interface help new players get into the game more easily. Finally, the worldwide release and support for online play between different regions helped expand the game's audience beyond Japan and made it a global hit. Widely praised by critics and fans alike for its accessibility and all the massive innovations we just went over, Monster Hunter World still retains the series' core gameplay elements and enjoyable difficulty. Many reviews called it the best game in the franchise thanks to its living ecosystems and advanced artificial intelligence for the monsters. Wouldn't be wrong to say that the series was modernized with this entry in the franchise, whether you prefer the old style of Monster Hunter or not. The game's success was reflected in its sales figures, with over 21 million copies sold as of July 2022, making it the highest selling Capcom game in history. The Iceborne DLC expansion pack was also well received, adding new content and features to the game and reaching 10 million sales by December 2022. Whether you decide to go for the base Monster Hunter World game or the full Iceborne expansion and edition, I guarantee you'll have a great time. Though I do highly recommend the Iceborne expansion, you can wait to decide on that until you've decided Monster Hunter is for you in general. Overall, Monster Hunter World has been a major success for Capcom and has helped to establish the franchise as one of the most popular action RPG series in the world for, well, let's just say many different reasons. Moving on, the character creator in Monster Hunter World is quite detailed and allows players to create a unique hunter with a variety of customizable options. When creating a character, players can choose their gender, facial features, hairstyle, skin tone, and other physical traits. They can also select their starting equipment and choose a name for their hunter. One of the unique features of the character creator in Monster Hunter World is the ability to customize your Palico, which is a cat-like companion that assists you on hunts. Players can choose their Palico's appearance, gear, and even their name. Your Palico will be covered up by gear most of the time, as well as your hunter if you get further into the game, but I highly recommend that you take the time to really decide what you want your best boy to look like, you know? You gotta be looking good. Overall, the character creator in Monster Hunter World is robust and allows players to create a hunter and Palico that are unique to their playstyle and preferences. But mostly you'll see everyone creating their own personal waifus. I mean, just look at the female armor sets too. Jesus Christ. The story of Monster Hunter World follows the player's character, a hunter who is sent to the New World, a newly discovered continent filled with dangerous, powerful monsters. The hunter is a part of the 5th Fleet, a group of hunters sent to investigate the Elder Crossing, a phenomenon where elder dragons migrate to the New World every 10 years or something like that. I don't know. Can't remember. Throughout the story, players will encounter a variety of characters, including other hunters, researchers, and members of the Commission, the organization responsible for overseeing the hunters' activities in the New World. The story is told through a series of quests which involve hunting monsters, gathering resources, and uncovering clues about strange occurrences happening in the environment. The story of Monster Hunter World is engaging and provides a good framework for the player's activities in the game. While the story is not the main focus of the game, it does provide context and motivation for the player's actions. It's honestly just very fun to see your own character go through these ordeals, and there's some memorable moments throughout the game, I have to say. Next up is the awesome combat and progression system, fighting monsters to obtain their monster parts such as scales and claws and use them in the crafting of weapons and armor. You rinse and repeat this pattern, only getting stronger to take on stronger monsters, and this in essence is true Monster Hunter, as it always has had these grindy systems it has today. Not only does this system reward you with more powerful pieces of equipment, but you get to choose what weapons and armor pieces you might like to use, whether you play for stats or for fashion, it's up to you. All pieces of equipment are different with their own stats for attack and defense, but also have different elemental properties. Each monster has a set of elemental weaknesses and resistances that hunters can take advantage of in combat. When a hunter uses a weapon that deals elemental damage that a monster is weak against, they will deal more damage than if they were using a non-elemental weapon, as long as the weapon's raw damage isn't cracked. Similarly, when a monster attacks a hunter with elemental damage, having armor with high resistances to that element will reduce the amount of damage taken and make it less likely for the hunter to be afflicted with an elemental blight, which are negative status effects that can be caused by elemental attacks. It's important for hunters to pay attention to the elemental weaknesses and resistances of the monsters they're facing in order to maximize their damage output and minimize the damage they take. But in reality, any damage is good damage in Monster Hunter World. Unless you're fighting Elatrion. In that case, you better get your shit together. But this guy is super late in the Iceborne expansion, so if you don't know about him, don't worry about it. Skills are an important aspect of character customization and can greatly affect your gameplay experience. Basic skills are generally passive abilities that provide benefits such as increased damage, elemental resistance, or stamina management, among others. The strength of these skills increases with the number of skill points you have in them. Toggle skills, on the other hand, are more situational and can be turned on or off as needed. Examples of toggle skills include skills that increase your affinity, which is basically your chance to crit when attacking a monster's weak point, or skills that reduce the amount of sharpness lost when attacking, as every weapon has a sharpness meter. Charms and decorations are separate pieces of equipment that can also give you additional skill points to help you customize your build even further. Overall, understanding and utilizing skills effectively isn't necessarily key to success in Monster Hunter World, but man, does it take you to a whole new level of strength. Therefore, if there is one thing to take away from this video, please take a look at skills on pieces of equipment and see what you like. But always just go for health boost. Just do it. It's so good. You're harder to take down, therefore your damage increases. What else do you want? Inserting a spot for me to talk about my personal favorite things about this game. There's too many that get lost in my head, as this game holds so much greatness that I simply don't know where to start. To list a few though, I would have to start with just how pretty this game is. Whether you're on PC or console, you're in for a nice looking experience, as I have this game on both platforms, but I did start on PlayStation 4 when it did come out in 2018. I only recently started PC, and that's 5 years later. So I can attest this game looks awesome, even on PS4. Speaking of cool looking stuff, this game holds so many collaboration quests and skins for your hunter if you're a fan of Capcom's other game series, such as Devil May Cry, Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and my personal favorite, the Final Fantasy XIV crossover, holds arguably one of the best but challenging quests in the game, coming fully equipped with awesome music from the game and one of the toughest bosses in Monster Hunter, in my opinion. And one of the coolest looking armor sets to date. Ugh. Lastly, the movement in Monster Hunter World just feels so damn good. Drinking potions while running up walls and jumping off for some aerial attacks, the overall verticality, the giant environments, and other improvements just make this game feel awesome. Heading into some of my closing thoughts, this game is one of the best, if not the best, cooperative action RPG games out there. It's not really a whole lot out there actually in that category probably, aside from Souls series games. Video game landscape has been pretty dry for a long time in terms of multiplayer, and this game is just so great at filling that void. You aren't going up against other real players taking out the competitive aspect of game these days. Whether you're playing solo or with friends, you're just going up against large monsters, meaning most of your quests are just awesome boss fights. 5 years later, this game is still so great, and I highly encourage you to give it a try. While they haven't unveiled the next Monster Hunter game in the series, we do know it's only a matter of time before they do, so maybe pick this up as a means to get ready for that next game. And while Monster Hunter World isn't actually the latest game in the franchise, with Monster Hunter Rise actually being the latest, it stands out as the most popular in terms of sales. Monster Hunter Rise, as I understand it, is on console as well as PC these days, but it did launch only on Nintendo Switch back when it came out, which undoubtedly probably leads to lower sales than Monster Hunter World, but I still think Monster Hunter World would have beaten it out. If you are interested in the next Monster Hunter title, you can check out my other video going over my ideas and reasons for when and why we might get it. I'll have a link in the description down below. If you're familiar with the series, do you prefer Monster Hunter World's modernization of the old systems, or do you like the classics more? And if you're new to the series, what is the coolest aspect of these games that brought you here? Please, I would love to hear your comments down below. I read every single one and I really value your input. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel if you want more news, reviews, discussions about awesome games. I'm extremely small as of this video, and the tiniest of your generosity is tremendously instrumental in helping me get started. Plus, you'll get an extra greeting next video I make, I promise. Either way, thank you for watching. This has been Terroriza, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!